Get us up in the group.
Morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah,
It's a lovely weekly live Q&A.
Let me get questions.
Can I just state that it's the first time I've worn my fleece for a while.
Yeah.
And it looks as though the eating over COVID has kind of
Taking its effects.
Yeah, it's taken its effects. Yeah. Wow, I've packed into this. The schmedium's no longer fit. Right, guys. Obviously, it's a live Q&A, so it relies on your questions, please. We do have a couple of questions already. I want to help Matty out, who posted in the group this morning, this morning. I don't know when it was. And for anyone who is fairly new to us, who is struggling to get on the courses for whatever reason and needs a little bit of help with marketing and lead generation. So we will be starting there this morning to help Matty out and the few that can't get on the courses. And then the rest of it, we'll be taking your questions. And hopefully you've got quite a few. But we'll see how we go. Can everyone who's currently on show a bit of love and say hello in the comments? Let us know who's here. It'd be nice to know who's with us, especially if you're currently going through the courses, so we can start to quiz you and ask you some questions on how you're getting on. So let us know in the comments who's here. Say hello. Let's be nice. And we can go from there. As soon as I've said that, 2 people left. I'm like, nah. I ain't saying hello to no one. Right then. So let me bring Matty's question up that he put in the group. Morning, Ryan. Thank God for that.
Morning, Ryan. Good man.
Thank God for Ryan. There we go. Charlie's here. Trusty Charlie. She's always here. Good to have you on.
Nice jackets.
Yeah. We've been told off, Charlie. You can't come to work dressed in our dressing gowns anymore. It can't happen anymore. Can't turn up in our PJs. It's getting serious. The gyms are opening. We need to go back on brand. I'm looking for Matty's question. So Matty's question was, hi guys, does anyone have any suggestions on how to generate leads? My demographic is people have an athletic background or are looking to train more athletically. Any suggestions would be muchly appreciated. You know what I mean? Appreciated. Wow, what is wrong with me? It's not only you jumbling your words. Yeah, I think that's a good place to start today, Nicholas. Let's help a brother out.
Okay. Right, so it's good, first of all, it's really positive that you have an understanding of who you want to work with. So the first thing is creating awareness of what you do, who you work with, who you want to work with, the problems that they have, and how your service can solve those problems. So I think, first of all, obviously right now we have social media as a avenue for that. I definitely feel that there are some other things that you can do as well. So what I would potentially look at, and this is quite a relevant thing to look into, is obviously you can use social media and start to create awareness of what you do, how you do it, maybe some proof of concept if you're working with people like that now, or if you have done in the past, or if you've got your own kind of story or helping any local teams out. But that brings me to kind of my point in regards to go directly to the source so for example, like search out local rugby teams, search out local football teams, search out local tennis clubs, and, you know, take that first step forward to kind of introducing yourself, telling people what you do, offering out your services, especially now when, you know, for example, I think my brother's rugby has been cancelled, this year as well. like next season almost as well. So there's going to be a lot of people that are out of their kind of, obviously out of their routine, but out of their training, looking for something to do, keep maintaining, I would say, maybe not improving so much, but maybe definitely maintaining. So I think get a list of your local area of clubs, sporting clubs, teams, draft up a couple of emails, letters, etc. And yeah, take that first step to make contact, really, and create that awareness.
The only thing I'd add to that is that your demographic is great, like brilliant demographic in a sense of I'm sure it helps you with your passion and helps you enjoy your job and stuff like that, because it's probably something that you're passionate about. And I think when you are trying to attract that kind of athletic demographic who have an interest in training versus the majority of members of a pure gym who don't, are interested in performance-based goals, and maybe just need to be pushed and have that level of accountability, structure, routine, programming, all of that they'll need from a coach. Your product is going to be your best marketing tool for that demographic. So your product being your programming and the way you deliver your service, and all of that. So have a real think about how you can show your product off as much as possible, because at the end of the day, like, especially to this demographic, your product and your coaching and your service is paramount, and it'll be based off, the success will be based off your programming. So just make sure that you've got an opportunity to work with a few people, even if it means beta testing programming, beta testing the service, and use them as social proof. Be very, very wise of how you go about that. You might throw a competition out, you might throw a survey out to find out more, to find out where these people are. They then win this opportunity to work with you. Then off the back of that, they beta test your systems, give you feedback, and you can use that as social proof to generate awareness and attention. I think that'll be huge for you, because it genuinely will be your programming and your coaching that will stand you out with that market. Go on.
Yeah.
I see you.
Can you hear that?
What?
No, it's all right. Got him upstairs going mad.
You can hear it a little bit, but don't worry about it.
No, okay.
You might want to elaborate on that, saying got him
upstairs.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to say is look into the Archon app, because what the Archon app, and you can, if you punch it into the Facebook group Archon or Matt Ford or Katie Ford, it'll bring up all the feeds and all the bits and pieces of information, videos we've done in the past. So essentially, Archon is an online fitness testing software where you can test it, and obviously you haven't got barbells and bits and pieces, but the range of exercises that you can test people on, aerobic capacity, strength, muscular, blah blah blah. You could start to maybe offer that out as a kind of standpoint, an improvement. You could do like a competition maybe for some clubs where it will kind of bring people together a little bit more. So I definitely say look into that, because that's going to help you give measurements of success in the way that athletes, clubs, coaches will look at that and take that. So yeah, 100%.
He's been upstairs.
Still in the loft. He's been in there for 12 months.
Oh my God. Oh, Tom's put, oh man, I've not missed those ugly jackets. I know, Tom, I know. Question for you both that might make you both think. Well, these are the ones we like, Ryan. What's the most valuable course you've done in your career? Yes, I love these questions. By valuable, I mean a course that has either immensely improved your business or improved the way you have coached. And a bonus question, go on, Ryan. Is there a course you'd recommend for all personal trainers to do? Yes. I'll let you go first, because you're old and you've probably done a few more courses than I have in the past. And then again,
I'm older, not old. I'm older.
You're old, son. So go on. I'll let you go first. What was that turning point course for you?
NLP.
Yeah.
Did an NLP course. All right, 12 years ago. And then recently, along the same lines, is a behavior change, understanding behavior change. So those two courses in regards to coaching and how I obviously get people to apply the programs that I am giving them, which brings around better results, more retention, blah, blah, blah. Essentially communication skills. That is the biggest, has the biggest impact, I would say. Just think of another one. I'll stick with that one actually, because there are bits and pieces, but it hasn't been really the information so much. It's much more been about the tutor, and like I could say, like a bit of S&C, maybe even kind of CrossFit, level 1, level 2, kettlebells, but it's much more been about the environment and feeding off of the coaches rather than like the information as such. So behavior change course, NLP, but then I think just picking some really experienced coaches to learn off, that's had the biggest impact, I think.
Yeah, like I would say the course that made me a better coach and was a turning point in my career was definitely the UKSCA courses. It made me a better coach. It didn't make me run a better business, but it made me a better coach. I'd say the courses that have led to helping me run a better business and get better results for clients are any behavior change course that I have done over the past 5, 6 years. And I think the best behavior change course that's out there right now is the Gary Mendoza one. That is like absolutely unreal. We went through it about 18 months, 2 years ago. I don't even know.
Yes.
But yeah, better coach UKSCA, better business, better service, better coach all round, behavior change all day long. And the best course that I would recommend to all personal trainers now, the tutor is massively important, like probably the biggest thing ever. That's not what Nick said about your course, Matt, if I'm honest. He said the tutor was crap. He said the tutor was crap and was full of himself, apparently. I don't know why. And I didn't know until you come on Clubhouse and told us all that you were a tutor. So it's like this tutor.
You know that. You knew that.
No, I'm just saying you slag your tutor off all your career.
You just don't listen.
Anyway.
Well, you're not doing that. You're not listening, are you?
I think the best two courses that are out there right now is because Matt's on here, but I probably would have said this anyway, is Archon from a testing perspective, because I think a lot of personal trainers do lack in that assessment stage of their business to then be able to go and effectively and know how to effectively help people correcting their movement. So I'll give Matt a shout for that. But I also think we've just peer reviewed a very good course that I think a lot of personal trainers will benefit from. Well done, son. Which is the guys at the PFCA, so Ollie and Jens, delivered this functional fitness coach level 1. And I think, even though I'd say we've peer reviewed it and went back and was like, it's brilliant for personal trainers within the first 5 years, I think most personal trainers will benefit from that course.
Really good refresher, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unreal for movement correction, which is where a lot of PTs lack. Great for awareness of coaching. Unbelievable for programming and programming design, to give you more confidence with your product. So yeah, I'd say that's the first one that comes to mind right now, alongside, and my last one I'm going to mention because I think it's worth doing it. You're not allowed to mention is EIQ Nutrition with Emma and Amelia. Not just because it's nutrition based, but more so because of that. It's everything. It's coaching nutrition as a whole, and I think it's making personal trainers be a lot more self-aware of how they're coming across when they're dealing with people who struggle with their nutrition and adherence to it. So there's my 1/3. Nick, what's yours?
What
course would you recommend the guys to do now that's not in the 3 that I've just said?
Told them behavior change.
All right, so you tell them to do that.
Don't listen.
Gary Mendoza one. All right. So
to that
Can you link me to that?
Which one, Ryan?
Yeah, which one? Because we've just mentioned 4. And we need more questions, man. Come on, we want some more questions. Charlie, go and do EIQ nutrition.
We got a link or a PDF or something from Emma yet?
No, actually.
Need to get that. Functional movement one.
Okay, so just go and follow PFCA on Instagram, and then you'll be able to find it all there. We're actually awaiting some assets and a discount code. So if you're going to buy the course, just hold off a week or 2, because we're going to have a discount code for you soon for 20% off the course, which is decent. Right, more questions, people, please. Let's have some. Let's have some. We don't want to hear Nick's plasterer upstairs.
No.
So,
No.
yeah, Pete, LTB is an unbelievable product, an unbelievable community, like a great place to be part of. As long as you stay accountable to going through everything that you need to do and applying it. A great place, though. Like, we couldn't recommend it enough. Right, I'm struggling to seal the deal with potential clients. What things could I be missing out that is causing the issue? Good question, Charlie.
I'll go first. I'll hit on the onboarding. Cool. So the onboarding of a client. So this would be a couple of things to look at, Charlie. First of all, look at the inquiry points of your business, whether that's through links, emails, websites, etc. Then look at the stages after that are in between. First of all, like the response time, what they get in the response, what is their next step after they inquire? Is it filling out a pre-consult form? Is it some type of information? Is there a call before the consult? That, especially if you're getting quite cold leads, i.e. you're not really having much interaction, two-way communication, between people before they inquire, I would first of all look at what have you got set up to onboard that prospect into a consultation so that you understand, you build a little bit of rapport, you have a big outline of that person's past, present and future. You can gauge their readiness to change, their commitment level maybe before they even land at that consult. That's the first thing. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I just look at the touch points before that. So like, how many times in the marketing, how many times have you messaged each other over DMs? Have you reached out, got to know each other a little bit? Same as when the gym's open. It's just that, it's that know, like, and trust, and building that rapport and value and understanding between you and them. Because it's more, if it's more or less off one message and then it's a consult and then you struggle to convert them, it goes back to the touch points. And I probably, if that's the case, because that's happening a lot right now, because the majority of leads are coming from social media, it's shortening that touch time. So even though they sit in the background and watch your content, they probably still need to get to know you a little bit more to raise the value up in you and the cost within the price that you're delivering. So if that's the case, make sure that you've got an inquiry form, like Nick said, a pre-consult and a consult prior to you trying to sign them up. That will massively help. What else have we got? George, morning guys. Really sorry I missed the first March Business Foundation. How can I catch up on it? You're best just starting on the second week of April we're doing. So the next intake is in April. You'd probably be best just starting on that, seeing as though we haven't got a recorded intro session, have we? No. Next intake, mate. Get on the next intake. Jamie Thorpe, the legend that is Jamie Thorpe. Thinking of starting a 30-day challenge group as an incentive for the survey. For my mums, completing the survey, is this okay? Yeah, I think it's... Well, do you want to answer first, or do you want me to go?
No, you go. You started.
I did, didn't I? Anyway, Jamie, I think it's a good incentive. I really do. I think it's a good incentive. it's of high value, but people need to know why it's of high value. So like 30 days is a long time. There's going to be a lot of work that you're going to put into that, or you're going to need to put into that. What I would say is that make sure that when you are delivering it, the message in your surveys, like surveys don't work on social media for the majority of personal trainers because they don't communicate well enough, right? It never comes down to the questions or anything like that. It just never is targeted to an audience. You've got bloody, I don't know, 60-year-old dodgy Derek down the road filling it out, even though you're trying to target a demographic of mums who want fat loss, right? We don't want that, you know, yeah. Dodgy Derek and dodgy Doris. We want females. So you need to tell them like who you want to fill it in, the people you're trying to attract, why you're doing it, and then put some background information about that 30-day challenge. Because to anyone, so especially to your demographic, as soon as they see challenge, they might be like, no, that's not for me. It scares them off. So they need to understand what that 30 days is going to give them. It's going to help them with structure, routine, accountability. Well, how is it going to do that? So make sure that you spell it out and make sure that if you're going to hit that with an incentive, it needs to hit them in the face. But the communication is key. And the last point I will say on this, when you're breaking down the communication of a survey, be really open, humble, honest at the start. I need your help, guys. I really, really want to focus on improving my content and my content delivery to especially females within this demographic who have struggled with weight loss for quite a long time, have battled with their own confidence and happiness because of it, are frustrated with the different diets that they've tried in the past, have a barrier of time and struggle to get over that, and normally don't start a new program anymore or a new course or whatever, plainly because they feel like they're going to fail before they even start. If this sounds like you, please can I have 3 minutes of your time to fill out this survey. And if you do this, as a thank you from me, you will get put into this 30-day group accountability support challenge where I will personal train you online for the next 30 days to give you a kickstart that will hopefully start off your motivation. So that's the type of message to try and put out, Jamie. Hopefully that helps, mate. Anything you'd add to that, Nick?
No.
I'll let you take Mr. Yardley Patel's question. You posted a great post on Instagram today regarding a welcome pack. Thank you, Pete. My question is, how would you recommend communicating this? Share Dropbox, folder, Google Drive, email, etc. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, so the welcome pack, definitely email, I would say. You can have physical copies, but the welcome pack is something that if you think about a welcome pack and the information that you could put in there, it could be never ending almost. So I think a welcome pack split it down into, first of all, your operational non-negotiables and stuff like payment schedule, holiday, opening, closing hours, communication hours, expectations, blah, 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 blah. And then you service non-negotiables as well. So what they've actually signed up to. And then just have like maybe 2 or 3 of the most important things that person needs to learn or understand in their first week. That's how I'd kind of look at what to put into that. But then the onboarding of that client in the first 30 days is incredibly important. So again, Pete, think of all the most common questions you get from clients in that kind of initial training phase. You know, how do I use my MyFitnessPal? What's energy balance? How do I work out the calories? How do I set myself up to work out at home? What's the best exercise for this? You know, all those kind of commonly asked questions and information that in an ideal world, we would have hours to educate our clients on. I would stick that into an email series that they get. So you can create an automated email series, maybe 3 to 5 minute long videos, so it's really easy to consume. And that's automated for new clients that goes out maybe 2-3 times a week. Maybe even kind of couple that up and put those videos into a Facebook group, into the, what's it called now? It's not units. Guides, isn't it? It's guides now. You put it out into the guides in your Facebook group. But yeah, that's what I would say, mate. Because you want the welcome pack to a certain extent is going to be slightly personalised, especially the service for each individual, where the operation side is going to be quite standardised. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that helps, mate.
George, second question, no problem at all. Don't apologise. We need these questions, mate. Clients who ask, how much do you charge, is often a barrier I have to tackle. A lot of people have made up their mind that they can't afford PT. What could sway them? Who's going?
You go.
Right. So initially, you don't know how much you're going to charge that person because you don't know what that person needs. So what I would say is that if anyone does ask you that, just discuss a range with them and explain why. Like, it's a range of 150 to 400 pound, but it's going to be very much dependent on what you need, what you want, and me having a little bit of time to understand all of that. For that to happen, then you'd send them a link to your inquiry form, a pre-consult, and then to book a consult with you. So that'd be the best way of handling that, because what you're trying to look for here, George, is essentially you want that know, like, and trust. The stuff that we talked about before, you want them to value you and the price that you suggest that they need off the back of the understanding you've got from them. Replying with £30 an hour doesn't help you or them, because your business and service is worth obviously so much more than that. So yeah, say a range and then explain the context behind that range, get them booked in for an inquiry, automated response, book them in for a pre-consultation, have a bit of a chat, get to know them informally, ask them a few questions, then bam, book them in for a consultation, convert them into the business on the price and the package that they need. So that's what could sway them. And the ones that when you reply ghost you, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because they don't value it yet. They just probably need a little bit more time to value you. So we'll probably sit in the background of your social media until they've got that perceived level of value that they need. But yeah, 100% always ask the range, always tell them the range and then the context behind it. Aaron, got a client who works as a nurse, so works both day and night shifts throughout the week. I had this back in the day. It's not consistent with shifts changing every week. Because of this, she can't get regular sleep. Any advice on working with a client like this to help with building consistency, mostly in sleep, when their schedule is not consistent? Note, the client gets the shifts a month in advance, i.e. April shifts, beginning of March. I'll let you go.
Yeah, routine, more routine. That kind of routine, whether it's finishing work first thing in the morning and then, for example, her morning, early afternoon is her sleep time, or vice versa. I think routine and rhythm really helps prepare people for the sleep and get them in that kind of habit. So I'd definitely say, first of all, an element of assessing what she does now, if she does anything, what's the kind of, is there any patterns to that, replicate that, or create some autonomy on what would help her prepare herself to be a little bit more relaxed, especially after a long shift or whatnot. So, you know, habit stacking those things will really, really help to prepare her for that sleep. And also I think there's a bit of an element of, only because I've been doing this recently, it's why it's relevant. Just understanding how much sleep you get and how that kind of impacts you will make those things more valuable, which will then help that kind of focus, I guess, because obviously there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of the time sleep is inconvenience. to be frank, can be that, can't it? Can be an inconvenient if you've got stuff to do. And yeah, I would say those things I would probably look at first. So a bit of self-assessment, self-awareness, start to habit stack. Don't build this out with her. And it's not going to be a one, one you try this, one you try this, one you try this. It's really kind of figuring out together what's going to be that best routine and to prepare her for sleep. And, getting her to understand what's good for her and what's not. Everyone's slightly different, right?
The only thing I'd add to that, mate, is I had similar to this in the past. And the most valuable thing that I ever did, if this helps, was one session a month was when they got that rota. We then planned the month ahead, but that wasn't me dictating in any way, shape or form. That was me going, right, let's look at the priorities that we've got. So obviously your first priority is sleep. So where do you factor that in this rota? And what is it that you want to focus on to get the most optimal out of your performance? And when I mean performance, I don't just mean gym related. I mean, whilst you're in the job, if you've got kids, family, like the whole life types of performance. So it's about, for me, that setup session at the start of every month where you sit down on a Zoom, or maybe hopefully we can be in a room together soon, in a consultation room, where you go, right, talk me through. So again, creating autonomy, talk me through your priorities, list them priorities, and then let's just plan them. And that'd be a session. And the reason why it'd be a session for me is because it's obviously going to have a huge knock-on effect to everything. So, and I would plan for barriers as well. So my next question would be, right now we plan that, what could get in the way of it happening? Shifts might change. Okay, how could we potentially overcome that in that week? So you're creating tons of autonomy, but you're always a month ahead with your plans and all of that type of stuff. So that's what I would say. And then when it comes to like exercise, you overestimate the exercise in case something comes up. So you've just got a really strict, solid plan. And listen, I can't say this enough. Like the biggest thing that you can give more or less every single client is structure and routine. So don't overlook how powerful that session will be. It'll be more important than a session on the gym floor. Believe me, it will be. So make sure that, in my opinion, you should put that in now going forward, just to get that. It's like a monthly review, isn't it? You review the previous month, what went right, what went wrong. Okay, let's plan for the month ahead. And that'd be the core kind of component of that monthly review with that client. Wayne doesn't like the jackets either. Oh, well, here's what it is. Kieran, as a recent qualified PT and a gym instructor, trying to bring in my first set of clients, what should be my social media approach to generate those leads this month before we open? Who's going?
I'll give you some bullet points. Social media approach. First of all, you've got to, so we've got to create awareness of what we do, how we work with people, who we help, who we're looking to work with. People have got to get to know, like, trust you, and see some kind of proof of concepts, social proof, etc., that if they work with you, you can deliver the results for them. So putting all that kind of together, I think start to think about as a first kind of stage is who would be roughly who you'd want to work with. Now, you can go into tremendous detail with this, but just to give you a bit of a quick starting point with that, do you want to work with, or do you feel like you can help more novices and beginners, or is it more kind of the advanced, intermediate to advanced level exercise that you feel you can help more? That might just help you kind of start to tailor the message that you start to put out. And I think also one of the first things that we should start to do with that is go out to your audience, start to engage them, asking questions, figure out what they're looking for, what they're needing, because you can just create lots and lots and lots of information, but it's about that information being relevant for the people that you're trying to attract. Antonio?
Yeah, and the only thing I'd add to that is once you've found out what your social media following want and need, and that demographic that you want to work with, it's then all them posts are landing in the right place. You're saying the right terms, the right words that mean something to them. It meets them where they're at. And then that gives you an opportunity to be consistent. And it's a horrible word that we say quite a lot, that a lot of personal trainers get bored of us saying, but like the more consistent you are on social media, making sure that you're triggering people off their pain points, you're helping them overcome their barriers, you're adding absolute value, it gives you the opportunity to ask for the business, which is where you can start to create calls to action off the back of it. So you've only got the right to ask people into your business when you've delivered consistent amount of value. But that starts from that market research. So be as consistent as possible. Once you've built up 2-3 weeks of consistent content, then you can start firing out calls to action left, right, and center for the audience that you've tried to attract. Hope that helps, Kieran. Lizzie, I always ask clients to join me for a consult so I can tailor the package to suit them and explain the offering. Yeah, and I think that's a great way to go about it. But if you want to come up against less barriers and you've only met this person by a message or by a direct message before, it might be worth putting a layer in before the consult to build up the level of value, which is where pre-consultations comes in handy. And if you want to know what a pre-consult looks like, there's one on my PT Zone. No props, George. Joel, hi guys, just a wee techie question. Got an issue with my PT Zone where a couple of tabs don't work. Am I all right to Facebook message you with the problem? Joel, you've just queued us up without even knowing. The reason why my PT Zone will probably look a little bit different and there's certain areas that are blank is because we're currently putting the guys are currently doing a massive update to it. So there'll be certain parts and certain areas that look slightly different. We are launching again on the 1st of April, completely new aspects to my PT Zone. So lots of webinars, lots of resources, a news feed, an events page. You'll have your own profile to track how well you've done in a business coach foundation course, advanced course. You'll be able to book your courses online. So there's loads to come on my PT Zone that's launched. Oh, you'll be able to do your business review on there as well. There's loads to come that's launching on the 1st of April, and you're going to start to hear more of it from next Monday. FYI, next Monday? No, the 15th.
Week Monday.
Yeah, the 15th. So we're going to batter your heads with my PT Zone stuff for 2 weeks before it launches. And then you can all go on and play about with it. But yeah, in the meantime, it might look a bit glitchy, Joel. Apologies for that. Guys, that was good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it, Nicholas?
I did.
Fantastic. Listen, we're on here at the same time every week. We potentially have a guest next week in Mr. Dan Osman, and we're going to talk about how you guys can focus on being more client-led and client-centered. So we potentially got Dan on next week if diaries and times match. I'm just going to confirm that today. So we'll let you know of an event in the group. Otherwise, if he's not on, we'll be on. And if there's anything you need us for in the meantime, just post away in the group and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Legends.